Hello and welcome to this special broadcast. I'm 𝗂𝗎 𝗂𝗎 and today we are delighted to discuss on the topic impact of technology in modern education. Well, in recent times, technology has revolutionized the way we learn and acquire knowledge. It has transformed education by providing access to an abundance of study resources and incorporating technology in everyday learning. Today, technology has become an integral part of education and has ushered in a new era of innovation and growth. From online classes to interactive learning experience, technology has revolutionized the education landscape, and we are excited to explore its impact further in today's discussion with our guests. So to discuss on this, I have with me Ms. Kalyani Arandhara, an expert in the field who is currently teaching in Maria's Public School, Guwahati. All right, so Ms. Kalyani, welcome to Northeast Live. So my first question to you, well, can technology replace traditional teaching methods, or is there still a need for human interaction and personal touch in education?
Thank you so much for having me here, and of course, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is something very, very sensitive, and this is something very important, topic that you have come up with. There should be more discussions, there should be more opinions on this issue. Right. Thank you so much. Well, as a teacher of a school, I would always vouch for human interaction and personal touch. Of course, for a number of reasons. Of course, there is a lot of benefit with technological advancements, and what with the COVID situation happening all of a sudden in our country and all over the world. But of course, technology did help us a lot, but it can never replace traditional method of teaching. And this one-to-one interaction, classroom activities, then we all know that the capacity is it differs from child to child. Right. So definitely we need to have a lot of interaction in the classroom, and also because of due to their we look into their overall development. Right. So in that context as well, we need to have physical classroom all the time, and I would always advocate for physical classroom.
Innovative, what are some of innovative ways in which technology is being used to improve access to education in remote and underprivileged areas?
CBSE has come up with a lot of apps and tools to help us out there on online teaching, and to reach out to peoples in rural as well as urban areas. Right. And Diksha portal, which is very much helpful in this context, and there is also eCBSE, then Vidyadan, where quality e-content is available, which can be which can be used by teachers all over the country. So definitely there are some innovative ways through which we can be really beneficial.
All right, so Ms. Arandhara, my question to you, how can the teachers ensure that technology is used in a responsible and ethical manner, particularly when it comes to student data and privacy?
Of course, technology is a great tool for, to impart education. Right. Now, reaching out to the pupils now have become much more easier with that of the technological advancements, but we need to be very, very careful regarding the exchange of student data nowadays. All right. So these things are definitely very, very delicate, and we have to be very, very careful and responsible. We also need to educate the children about the threats all over the world, that we all know about cybercrime and cyber criminals lurking large all around. So we should be very, very careful about that. Of course, there are no definite laws out here in India at present, but there is this draft called DPDP, that is Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2020, which is in the process, all right, which has not been enacted as yet, but that would definitely help us. And we also need parental guidance regarding this, what data, and of course parental consent is also very, very important in this respect.
So Ms. Arandhara, now talking about impact of children. So are children or students, becoming too independent on technology for their learning and development? And, how can this be addressed?
Yes, students are definitely becoming more and more dependent on technology nowadays. And there are needs as well, of course, there are needs, but there are also certain things that are happening, which cannot be actually regarded as beneficial. In future, definitely that would really harm a lot. And things like many things like they don't pay attention in the classroom, and then they depend upon all the lessons that are available online, and then there is also absenteeism that is increasing, and these will definitely affect the overall development of the children, and that can be I think that can be monitored by everybody concerned.
So now talking about the negative effects, well, what are some of the negative effects of excessive screen time on children's social and emotional development? Because nowadays students, they spend a lot of time while watching mobile phones or laptops or computers.
Of course, there are a lot of negative effects of excessive screen time. On children's social and emotional development, which we actually we were aware about that. We were ready to face the children when they had started coming after 2 years online classrooms at home, and then when they came again, they started coming to school. We were ready, and we have had a lot of sessions on that. Our founder and managing trustee Nelly ma'am, principal ma'am Moushumi Mahanto, we had a lot of discussions with them. They had supported us a lot, guided us a lot, and they had pre-warned that this time this lot of children, we don't yet know how they would come up and how they would behave in the classroom. There was a lot of learning gap, behavioral problem, concentration problem, absenteeism, and lack of self-respect, lack of respect towards the teachers, elders, juniors, seniors. There were a lot of problem, and there was another problem that was very, very evident, and which really proved to be quite saddening, that they had forgotten the social skills. The individualism had increased so much that they have become self-centered. They don't know how to behave with their peers. That had actually that had been very saddening for us, and definitely we should not lose hope, of course. And that has this batch of this year, we have noticed that many of the children have come up to the level, and they have slowly coming back to the fold of you can say that decent and good behaviored children.
So now talking about the role of parents, so how can parents and also teachers balance the benefits of technology with the potential risk and harms associated with it?
This is a very, very pertinent question. Of course, this balance should be there. We, as of now, we as a human being, we need to have this physical classrooms, but we still, at the same time, we need the help of technology, and it has gone a long way now, and it has come to stay actually, the technological advancements and all the tools that we get. And because it is a lot of things can happen online, and then there's this facility of internet, things are easily accessible nowadays. Students hardly use the dictionary nowadays, hard copy of the dictionary, which is so easily available online. So definitely there are benefits, advantages of technology and technological advancements, but at the same time there are negative effects also. So there should be a definite balance, and for that I think they should be they're innocent children. They are inquisitive, curious. They are ready to access a lot whatever they get. And I think at this juncture, I think the parents and the teachers should actually work hand in hand, and they should try to show them the advantages and disadvantages to the children. It should be very open and frank. Parents should be very open, the teachers should be very open, because nowadays, although they are quite vulnerable, but at the same time they are matured enough to understand the threats of this too much of online and screen time activities.
All right, viewers, we will discuss more on impact of technology in modern education right after a short commercial break. Stay with us. Welcome to this special broadcast. So today we have with us Ms. Kalyani Arandhara. We were discussing on impact of technology in modern education. Now coming to you, Ms. Arandhara, well, how can we prevent technology from becoming a distraction and hindrance to learning rather than a tool for enhancing it? Your take on this?
In this context, I must say that of course, as I said earlier, that there are a lot of advancements and advantages of technology, and it has come to stay. But it should not be a hindrance of learning. As I said earlier, that the children are children. They would be curious to know that they need fun time activities and then games and other tools, then social media. They get engaged in those areas more than educational or learning sites. So definitely it should be monitored by, if it is not monitored, and because it is quite free and they are it's easily available. So there is a risk of it is becoming a hindrance or a distraction for children. So in this area, I think the teachers and the parents as well, they should monitor each and every online activity of children at least up to 18 years of age, because they are at this stage, they are very, very vulnerable and they don't know what is wrong and what is right. That is the most important question. And that is why at this stage they should be guided and supported. Of course, we need technology nowadays as a very convenient tool. So definitely we need to have this with us. At the same time, it should be definitely monitored.
All right, in many rural areas, students lack access to reliable electricity and internet connectivity, isn't it? So, how can technology be made more accessible and equitable for students in those regions particular?
Actually, internet accessibility of the internet and electricity, it should not be a problem nowadays. We have developed enough, I think, and what we see on the social media portals, there are a lot of reels and videos coming in from the rural areas. So I don't think that that is a problem. Actually, accessibility is a problem. Internet is strong and connectivity is very strong nowadays, so it should not be a problem in the rural areas. Of course, if it is a very, very remote area where the internet connection is very, very weak, then of course there should be a specific time for the children. If it is really important for them to learn the lesson out there, then there should be a specific time and place where they can be taken and then where they can, really learn from, learn online if it is really needed. But of course, now with physical classrooms happening again, starting again, and then it should not be a problem. But if again this kind of situation arises, and then of course if we need to get online classes and have online classes, then definitely there should be a specific area and time where the children can be taken.
And the cost of technology and related infrastructure such as computers and high-speed internet can be a significant barrier for schools and families. How can we ensure that all students, regardless of their socio-economic background, have access to the necessary technology for their education?
If it is for one, it should be for all. Socio-economic background and problems at home, social problems at home, these should not be a barrier for education. Even people from underprivileged sections, they should also, technology and education should be available for each and every child. Now here comes the role of the teachers, schools, the government and the organizations. There are so many non-governmental organizations and government machineries which look into all these matters, and of course there are certain government schools also, computers are available, internet facility is available. Now children in school level, they don't need internet facility or the computer or the laptop 24 hours a day. As we can always make an adjustment and then take them to a particular place or school or organization where this kind of technology can be available, and the children coming from underprivileged section of the society and other socio-economic background, they can avail the benefits of or opportunity of online education as well as learning through the computers or the laptops or the internet.
And also, Ms. Arandhara, where there is a growing concern that technology may replace human interaction and critical thinking in education, leading to a more automated and superficial learning experience. So how can we ensure that technology is being used to supplement or support, rather than replace human teaching and mentorship?
There's a lesson in class 9 English textbook called Beehive, where the first lesson itself is about a mechanical teacher. There it is, the setting is in 2157, where human teachers would be replaced by mechanical teachers. There, as a school, the children have a room in their own house, and then the teacher is a robotic teacher which give out a lot of lessons to the children, and the children actually do not have any kind of human touch or human interaction with their teachers. So when we discussed this lesson, when we also had a debate in class, and we did have some things like advantages and disadvantages of having a mechanical teacher. All the children, they voted for a human teacher. All right. So as of now, there's no threat or there's no question of replacing a human teacher with that of a mechanical teacher. But there's need for of course, nowadays, as we can see that, although online teachings are being imparted, education is happening online, but the teacher is human, right? So teacher is always a human. So we cannot even think now that there would be a mechanical teacher one day and a robotic teacher one day who would not understand the children and who would not have any interaction. There'll be no personal touch, there'll be no one-to-one teaching. and then of course that would be definitely a hindrance in the social skills, emotional development of the children.
Now talking about the teachers, well, many teachers may lack the necessary skills and training to effectively incorporate technology into their lessons. So how can we ensure that teachers have access to the necessary professional development opportunities and support to effectively use technology in the classroom?
So in this context, I would like to say that whenever some new technology is installed, new technological tool is installed in a school or in a college, definitely there should be a training, because everything is quite new to us, especially teachers like us who have been teaching for about 20-25 years now. This actually happened during COVID time, during the pandemic, when all of a sudden we had to shift our schools to this virtual platform. And of course at first we didn't know, we were at a loss actually what to do, but that continued only for 2-3 months, a couple of months. Then we had thought about WhatsApp, through recorded lessons through sending recorded lessons through WhatsApp, and then slowly we moved into Microsoft Teams. It's an app. Of course, there are different schools are using different apps, but we had used Microsoft Teams, and we had to undergo 2 days of training. So definitely there's no question of not knowing about the technology, or not being tech savvy, for that matter. So definitely if there is a new technology that is being introduced, there should also be backup support like training sessions, and of course there should be support and guidance from the concerned authority.
And Ms. Arandhara, well, lastly, there is a concern that technology may lead to a loss of important skills such as handwriting and basic arithmetic that are necessary for students' development, isn't it? So your take on this?
All right, frankly speaking, it would definitely affect, this use of technology. Then it would definitely affect some important skills like handwriting and basic arithmetic. To be very, very frank, I do a lot of work online, and then I do a lot of work on my laptop, which has actually affected my own handwriting. And when I check all this, my students' copies, and we all discuss amongst us, the teachers, we discuss amongst us, I think the handwriting is, I should not be saying, but it is going down the drain actually. And of course, there are other things like, spelling mistakes, and then not knowing about the punctuation mark, using a lot of, texting, spellings, not knowing that I should be capital, and then God should be, G should be capital, things like that. And not only handwriting, and there are a lot of changes that are happening. I think this is not happening for the betterment of the children, So I think that should be looked into. All right, as a teacher, I have been trying my best. I've been telling people, I have been discussing this. I've been also, explaining children how this should be, avoided,
right,
and how important things are, like spelling. That
right. So viewers, I hope today's episode will be very beneficial for all our viewers. So thank you so much, Ms. Kalyani Arandhara, for joining us this afternoon. And as we all know, that technology has brought about transformational change in how we learn and consume knowledge. From providing study resources to using tech in everyday learning, technology has become an indispensable part of today's education. All right, that's all we have in this special broadcast. Thanks for watching.